Dr. Dre, born Andre Romell Young on February 18, 1965 in Compton, California, is one of hip-hop's most influential pioneers. Raised in a rough neighborhood during the height of Los Angeles' gang violence and social unrest, Dre's early life was shaped by instability. His parents divorced when he was young, and he bounced between schools like Centennial High and Fremont High while trying to avoid trouble in the streets. Despite the chaos around him, Dre was drawn to music from a young age. His mother, Verna, who sang in a band called the Four Aces, introduced him to rhythm and melody, while funk legends like Parliament Funkadelic, Marvin Gaye, and Curtis Mayfield sparked his obsession with sound. He idolized DJs on the radio and saved up to buy his first turntables as a teenager. Before music became a career, Dre held a few small jobs, including a short-lived stint at a local air conditioning company and work as a DJ at a Los Angeles nightclub called Eve After Dark. It was there that Dre met DJ Yella, and together they started performing with a group called the world-class Wreckin Crew, a techno-funk act that gained modest local fame. But Dre was hungry for something raw, something that reflected the real-life violence, politics, and tension of his community. Around this time, he met O'Shea Jackson, better known as Ice Cube, a gifted young lyricist from South Central LA. Cube started writing rhymes for Dre's beats, and soon they found a third piece to the puzzle, Eric Wright, a drug dealer from Compton who had money, ambition, and a gritty voice. Eric would become Eazy-E, and together they formed N.W.A. in 1986. N.W.A, or Niggas with Attitudes, changed everything. With Dre behind the boards, Cube writing bars, and Eazy-E's distinctive delivery, they released Straight Outta Compton in 1988. The album was a cultural earthquake. Tracks like F the Police weren't just controversial, they were revolutionary. Dre's production fused aggressive drum machine patterns with funk samples, creating the G-Funk style that would later define West Coast rap. But as the group's fame skyrocketed, internal tension began to brew. Ice Cube, frustrated with unequal royalty payments and shady management by Jerry Heller and Eazy-E, left the group in 1989. His departure sparked a bitter feud, with diss tracks flying from both sides. Dre stayed on a bit longer, but grew disillusioned with how Eazy and Heller controlled the business and money. By 1991, Dre made his move. With the help of Suge Knight, a former bodyguard with an intimidating reputation, Dre left N.W.A. and founded Death Row Records. The departure was messy. Suge allegedly used threats and violence to get Dre released from his contract with Eazy-E. Dre's first release under Death Row, The Chronic, became a defining moment in hip-hop. Featuring laid-back yet lethal rhymes from a young Snoop Doggy Dogg, The Chronic introduced the world to the G-Funk era in full form. It was smooth, heavy, and unapologetically West Coast. Dre won a Grammy for Let Me Ride and became hip-hop's go-to producer. For a few years, Death Row was unstoppable. Dre helped shape Snoop Dogg's Doggy Style, the Above the Rim soundtrack, and worked with Tupac Shakur. But violence, legal issues, and Suge Knight's increasingly volatile behavior made the label toxic. Tupac's death in 1996 was the last straw. Dre walked away from Death Row and a fortune in masters and royalties to start fresh. That same year, he founded Aftermath Entertainment. Aftermath got off to a rocky start with Dre's compilation album Dr. Dre Presents, The Aftermath receiving lukewarm reviews. But everything changed when he discovered Eminem, a white battle rapper from Detroit whose raw lyricism and charisma were undeniable. Despite initial backlash for signing a white rapper, Dre stood by his decision. Eminem's The Slim Shady LP, executive produced by Dre, was a massive hit and won a Grammy. Dre had proven he could find and mold stars. He followed up by signing 50 Cent, whose 2003 debut Get Rich or Die Tryin' became one of the best-selling rap albums of all time. Dre also found success outside music. In 2006, alongside Interscope head Jimmy Iovine, he co-founded Beats by Dre, a luxury headphone brand that quickly dominated the market. Their marketing, backed by top athletes and artists, turned Beats into a global phenomenon. In 2014, Apple bought the company for $3 billion, making it the largest acquisition in Apple's history, and Dre the first hip-hop billionaire. This deal redefined what a hip-hop entrepreneur could be. Despite his business success, Dre never left music behind. In 2015, he released Compton, an album inspired by the N.W.A. biopic Straight Outta Compton, which he also co-produced. He continued mentoring young talent like Kendrick Lamar, helping shape the next generation of lyricists. But life wasn't without hardship. Dre's son, Andre Young Jr., passed away from an overdose in 2008, and in 2021, Dre suffered a brain aneurysm, a life-threatening scare that reminded fans how much he means to the culture. Today, Dr. Dre is more than a producer or rapper, he is a visionary. From crafting the sound of the streets with N.W.A. to creating billion-dollar brands, he turned hardship into history. He's responsible for launching the careers of some of hip-hop's biggest stars and creating music that defined generations. Through highs and lows, Dre's legacy remains rooted in excellence, innovation, and staying true to the beat of his own drum.